Hello, welcome. Thank you so much. You're live on GTV and live on all our regional networks across the country. The program is Single Spine the Issues. We promise coming your way live on this network, and we've made it possible. Thanks to GTV and thanks to Fairwages and Salaries Commission, thanks to all our regional networks. We are here to discuss market premium and who qualifies to enjoy that premium. But before we move into that, I would want to delve into an issue, a statement that was issued during the Freedom Conference, Freedom Lectures by Imani Ghana, the Executive Director of Imani Ghana, Franklin Kujo, made a statement that the single spine salary structure is a drawback to strengthening innovation. He has also described that as a bonanza, the policy which has been implemented by government. He has described that as a bonanza that is going to hit back in the face of government. And he says that it does not inspire innovation within the public sector. We will discuss this. My guest in the studio is the Chief Executive of the Fairwages and Salaries Commission, Mr. George Smith Graham. We also have on this same platform, Mr. Ampabin, General Secretary, Public Services Workers Union, and they are here with me. You're welcome, gentlemen. Thank you so much. I would want to throw this one to you first. The statement made by Franklin Kujo at the Freedom Lectures that the single spine salary structure, the pay policy, is a bonanza, and that is likely to hit back in the face of government. It doesn't inspire innovation within the public sector. How would you respond to this?
Well, thank you very much. And I was a bit disappointed because so far as we are concerned as Fairwages and Salaries Commission, we've not had any interaction whatsoever with the money. They've issued several statements on the single spine pay policy, and most often when they issue, we come out with a counter statement, and therefore I was thinking that before they issue any statement, at least they will come to Fairwages and Salaries Commission and look at exactly what we are doing, and as a result of that, we'll be able to now share ideas and know exactly what, but they didn't. But be that as it may, we have a situation where the statement says that it is a bonanza. And I'm wondering why he will call the salary a bonanza. What makes it a bonanza? That is a critical issue. It is not a bonanza in the sense that you are having a new pay policy that is trying to eliminate inequities within the public sector. You are also having you have a pay policy which, apart from eliminating the inequities in the public sector, is also trying to make sure that all the bad situations that you had in the public sector pay administration has been corrected. Now, in doing that, it's a whole policy on itself. The single spine salary structure, as he mentioned, is just one component of it. Why is it not a bonanza? If you've done an evaluation of somebody's job and you are paying the person based on the value of the person's job, if, for instance, it happens that the person you are now going to pay on the single spine is supposed to get higher money, what that technically tells you is that previously you were underpaying such a person. And so now the policy has come to make sure that you pay the person appropriately. Again, if, for instance, which we have, a lot of people also in the public service who didn't see any gains at all. So for those people, it means that they were rather enjoying higher salaries that they were supposed to enjoy by the values of their jobs. So this is how the situation is. And all the issue of being a bonanza and all that doesn't come in. He also raised another issue which says that the public service is a bloated public service. And is it an incompetent or something public service?
Because that was the impression he created by saying that.
And that gets me worried. It is not based on any facts. How is the public sector bloated? The public sector, as we speak now, we still lack thousands of teachers in the classrooms. We still need a lot of teachers, doctors, nurses, almost every profession, policemen, the army. All these areas we have shortages. And so why would you call it bloated? He went further to also say that there are ghost names in the public sector. Yes, indeed, there are ghost names. What is being done to address those ghost names? If he had even spoken to somebody, he would have known that the ghost names issue is being tackled seriously. We've now done biometric registration of pensioners We are now paying pensioners based on biometric registration. Whatever ghost name that existed have been eliminated. We are now doing the biometric registration for those who are also in active service.
Has that been completely eradicated?
You see, it's a process. And so within that process, you'll be able to eliminate all that. My worry is this comparison about the private sector and the public sector, and the assumption that the private sector is always more competent than the private sector. We have private sectors that are also collapsing. Why are they collapsing? Because they also have certain challenges. Assuming I'm a private sector organization and I'm now coming to set up, just as Imani themselves, before they set up Imani, I'm sure the one who set up Imani would have gone around to look at all the think tank groups in the country, looked at their salaries and look at everything. And so before you start the business, you would have established a salary which is competitive. And therefore, once you establish that salary which is competitive, when you are recruiting people, you recruit them, and immediately they come into the system, because you know that the salary you are giving to them is competitive, you now demand accountability from them. That's not the situation in the public sector.
It is unfortunate. I know an invitation was extended to him for him to join us here, we can find out from him what exactly informed that decision. Since it's a policy think tank organization, I'm sure he has dealt with statistics and records so that he will make us understand his position and where he was also coming from. But that's just unfortunate that he's not here with us. The fact that the public sector does not inspire innovation is something which raises concerns from his perspective and position. Yes.
Why is it so? To get a highly skilled and competent person in the public sector does not come cheap. It is the same person that the private sector will employ. And you should go back and do analysis and see those the private sector is poaching. Highly skilled and competent people within the public sector are being poached into the private sector. Why is it so? Because private sector sees such people as very competent. If they are not competent, why would the private sector poach them? And so if you are developing a salary structure that will make it possible for the public sector to attract people into the public service, you rather have to be happy. Again, Ghana as a third world country, and for that matter, any third world country, cannot do without the public sector. It is the public sector that drives, what do you call it, the policies of the organization, of the country. Without those policies, the private sector, what would they be doing? The public sector will formulate the policies for the private sector to implement. And so if we have a private sector that in his thinking should be a bunch of incompetent people, lowly paid people, how would they be able to develop the policies for the country? And for me, that is my worry. And I think that such statements are not good enough. I was getting a bit worried, especially because he said the policy is not sustainable. My worry was that I got worried because what is he telling the unions? I am happy that we have highly intellectuals in the unions these days, and therefore they have their own way of analyzing issues. Assuming we didn't have intellectuals in the unions who can do their own analysis, and you come up with a statement which says that the policy is not sustainable, what is going to happen? You will have all the unions now stampeding you to want to get whatever they want to get today. Because if the thing collapses tomorrow, then it has collapsed. You see, such statements, I think, is not good enough when we are implementing a policy of this nature. My other worry is that when we developed the single spine pay policy, we gave this pay policy to them, Imani and all the think tank groups, because we wanted inputs from them. We went to very tedious processes to develop the policy. They didn't even bother to look at the policy.
Are you selective in dealing with some of the policy think tanks?
No, we dealt with all of them.
Oh, okay.
You see, but specifically Imani did not give us any inputs. And again, if they had even read the document, even let's assume that they didn't give us input, if they had read the document, they would have seen in the document that the document really tries to ensure that we link pay to productivity. The labor unions that he is referring to are also very concerned about sustainability. And the last time we had a meeting, labor unions impressed upon all of us, and we established a technical committee that will make sure that before any negotiation, very serious analysis has been done as to the economy and everything before the negotiation is done, which gives an indication that the unions themselves are also very interested in sustainability of the pay policy. So to sit back and think that the unions are not interested in sustainability and that the unions are just interested in the money and government is just dishing out money to people and it's a certain agenda which I don't even understand what it means by an unfinished agenda of the ERP and all that. I don't get it.
I'm very happy that Mr. Ampabin has been paired with you. Let me find out quickly from him what he made of those statements, and then we will move into market premium, the reason for which we are here. Mr. Ampabin.
Thank you.
You are the General Secretary, Public Services Workers Union.
Yes, of which GBC is one of the affiliate unions.
Yeah.
I'm rather not too surprised about the statement made by Imani.
Why?
Why? Because Imani is a civil society and it's a think tank, and they have their focus. I'm inclined to believe that Imani focus is on the private sector, and therefore would not want to see the public sector flourishing. I mean, public sector flourishing means that they are giving competition out there for the private sector to deliver. Now, I always say that any country developing, be it advanced or developing as we are, you need a strong public service to, as it were, give enabling economic environment for the private sector to thrive. Now, let me come home. If I take GBC and I relate it to the numerous broadcasting companies that has come around, where do they get their staffing? So if for nothing at all, Imani should appreciate that for nothing at all, the public sector is a pool of training skilled employees, such that, you see, who will come and set a company in your country where it's not sure of human capital?
Yeah.
And where are we going to get the human capital? The private sector, usually, is not interested in training and retraining. They are interested in already made material. And where
so
do
they poach from the public sector?
That's the point I'm driving at. So the moment you try to stagnate the public sector, one, you create an enabling situation where the public sector should be privatized. And the privatization, what excuses do we get for the privatization? Non-performance, this. The same public sector, when it is privatized, then the same workers are rerouted to work in that private sector. These are the issues which are worrying. Now, if Imani's statement is anything to go by, then I'm happy because the pay policy is working. And indeed, I will tell you, the philosophy underpinning it is to make the public sector competitive such that it can compete with the private sector.
Yeah, but then if you listen to him carefully or you went through his scripts, you realize that he incited workers because like Mr. Smith-Graham said, if this will not be sustained, then there's a possibility of unions rising up one day to say that we are demanding...
My brother, the point that we have labor unions, you see, usually, even with our own members, sometimes they don't see the relevance of unions.
Yeah.
In that, I'm working at broadcasting. Excuse me, I'm here, I want to make a lot of inference on it. And I needed to receive so much, I'm not getting. The union is there, the union is doing nothing. Let me tell you, labor unions today, and if you're a negotiator, worth your salt, what you need to do is sustainability of whatever you are negotiating for. It's regularity and constant as it were. Because I would not negotiate for 100 when I know that 100 can only be sustained for 3 months. Perhaps if I had negotiated 80, it could have taken it through. So I will do all the analysis and come out with the 80. And usually, we'll be getting the bashings. Single span, yes, we are all worried if you get to know the numbers being turned out by a controller and accountant general. I mean, from 2.7 to 6 billion is a reality. And who will not be worried? But then, what do we do? And part of the statement I read, that unproductive public sector.
Yeah.
Goodness. What is his yardstick? Or he's lumping all public sector into one area. If he cares to know and he had consulted Fairwages, he would realize that the public sector is into segments of 9 service classifications.
Okay. It really doesn't look like time will permit us to go into these classifications.
No, I think we need time to exhaust.
I understand.
And I would have wished he was here.
Exactly.
Then we exhaust the matter properly.
But let's go for a break. We will come back. We will go to town again and speak to some journalists to find out what they know about market premium and who qualifies for it. And then when we get back, we will delve extensively into what market premium is all about. We're going for this break. Stay there, don't touch your dials, and don't move away from your sets. We will be back. Okay, welcome back. The program is still Single Spine the Issues, and we are live on GTV and live on all regional networks of Ghana Broadcasting Corporation across the country. We are back. We'll be talking about market premium. Emmanuel of Fairwages and Salaries Commission was in town to speak to some journalists to find out from them what they understand as far as market premium is concerned. Yima, take over.
Okay, thank you, Cecil. This week, the Fairwages crew decided to find out from our journalists what they know about market premium. We are the Ghana News Agency, and we have with us Mr. Lawrence Corti. Good day, Lawrence.
Thank you. Good day.
So, what is your understanding of market premium?
Market premium, as I know, under the implementation of the single spines salary structure, it's a monetary incentive that is given to, critical skills, of course, within the economy.
I think it is some kind of package or monies that are paid to special skills of workforce. And here, like if you take the workplace, there are some people who have special skills. It's not easy to replace them. So if such people say they don't want to work again, you have to come up with some form of incentive to keep them at the workplace. I think basically that is what market premium from the kind of interviews I've had over the years.
The premium that probably an employer or somebody who engages somebody else's services, the premium that it places on the person, depending on the values and the skills that the person has to offer.
We are aware, as far as the government white paper is concerned, the determination of the market premium is supposed to be done by the Fairwages and Salary Commission. But then we have seen situations where institutions are coming to the Fairwages Commission to demand or put a case as far as, for them to also to be placed under a market premium. So that for me is where the challenge is.
I also think there hasn't been much education on it, because every time you get some group of workers going on strike saying they want market premium. But I think if they get to understand that it is not for everybody, but it is for special skills, then they will know that if Group A is being paid market premium, it doesn't automatically mean Group B must have it.
It has to do with what they are bringing on board. I have known that generally salary levels have been stagnant for a number of years before the single spine. And the single spine actually, increase people's salaries and so on. And so for me, I think it has to do with value. It has to do with demand of certain skills that people are able to offer.
If professors are being given market premium, it doesn't mean all teachers must also have market premium. So I think it is some special incentive, and that must be explained to workers so that they know that it is not everybody who gets to enjoy it.
So this is what our journalist had to say about market premium. As to whether they are valid or not, we shall find out when we hit the studio. Over to you, Cecil.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Emmanuel speaking to some journalists, finding out from them what they know about market premium. I guess it is clear. But my guests are still with me in the studio. Mr. George Smith-Graham is the Chief Executive Officer, Fairwages and Salaries Commission. Mr. Ampabin is the General Secretary, Public Services Workers Union. Market premium has been an issue of tense controversy in the single spine implementation process. Institutions, in their quest to press home their demands for market premium, have engaged in industrial actions. What we'll be finding out is government's white paper on market premium and what it's all about and who qualifies for market premium. Let me throw this one to you, Mr. George Smith-Graham.
Thank you.
What is market premium?
Thank you, Cecil. As you mentioned, we won't go in for any definition from anywhere, but restrict ourselves to what the policy seeks to achieve with market premium and how government wants to implement market premium. So in the government white paper that was issued in November 2009, section 4.8 spelled out clearly what market premium is supposed to be. And it has a heading, market premium and inducements. And it states, I'm quoting, government acknowledges that the attraction and retention of the right mix of skills to deliver public goods and services is central to its overall human resource strategy. Government recognizes that market premium should be used to attract and retain critical skills which are in short supply. And as you can see, the emphasis is on attracting and retaining them, and it's on critical skills that are in short supply. However, according to the government white paper, not all jobs within a particular service classification would be eligible. And it went further to say that to avoid abuse of this facility, clear guidelines for identifying jobs which qualify for market premium will be developed and reviewed periodically. And the document went on to say that government further knows that inducement for working in deprived areas should be allowed for those areas designated as inducement. And it went finally to say that government accepts that regular labor market survey should be undertaken to inform the determination of the market premium and the inducement. So right from the government white paper, the market premium is meant for critical skills that are in short supply on the labor market. How would you identify critical skills that are in short supply? That is why government is saying that we need to be able to undertake a market survey. So for instance, if you look at what has been done currently, you have a situation where we have done the evaluation, job evaluation, and so people are being paid based on the values of their job. So based on the values of their job, people are being paid, so that is it. But when it comes to market premium, or it comes to the public sector, you are likely to have certain jobs within the public sector that are so critical that even if you say you want to pay them based on the current values, you are not likely to attract them because they are very short on the market. And so government feels that for such skills, then I would be prepared to pay a certain premium, put a premium on them and pay a certain premium to them to be able to attract them. And not only attract them, but retain them in the public sector, because the public sector will also require such critical skills. So
let me highlight on this point for further clarification. If the paper says that not all jobs within a particular service classification will be eligible, what exactly does that statement mean?
Because if you take every one classification, let's say you take the health service classification. In the health service classification, we have various skill sets within the health service classification.
Exactly.
But it will not be every skill within the health sector that is in short supply. And so you need to identify the skills that are in short supply. You may even take doctors. If you're implementing the market premium to the latter, you may take doctors. And you realize that there may be maybe urologists or a certain specialized area in the health sector that are not available. Either because people are not interested in specializing in that area because probably there's no money there or for whatever reason. So what you do is that this is supposed to be a policy that is supposed to bring about some level of positive discrimination, if I should put it that way, so that you place emphasis on that skills to enable people to now want to go into that area because they know that when they move into that area, they'll be properly compensated.
Mr. Mpabin, you've started making inferences already to workers of GBC, and I'll throw this one to you. So who within GBC would you say will qualify for market premium?
Wow. Why wouldn't you want me to go in general?
Okay.
Yeah, but as Mr. Graham rightly stated, market premium, even within a particular service classification, do not mean everybody is assessing it. Now, the situation we find ourselves, I'm being realistic here. The implementation of simile market premium. Now, the whole process of single spine pay policy is of so many compartments. Unfortunately, I think we underrated the work of the implementation, and we are far, far behind. So my view is that we did not really take pains, as it were, to do proper market survey to determine the market premium. And mind you, market premium is market driven. That is demand and supply. Now, the labor market itself is not solid. So what information are you even going to get from the labor market? I mean, if I want to find out how journalists are turned out right from School of Journalism to the point of working, how scarce are you within the various media houses, to wait. If I place advertisements seeking for journalists, how soon will I be able to assess such skilled employees? I'm bringing it in its practical terms. There are certain critical skills, if you are not careful and you don't consciously, as Mr. Graham stated, if you don't positively discriminate, as a nation, you run out of such skilled jobs because it might not be paying. And perhaps such jobs are also the difficult ones to come with. And then what will happen? You go out there to bring expatriates and compare paying market premium to paying foreign currency for expatriates. So the whole concept of the market premium, to me, is to, as it were, to solve fundamental problems, still talking about skilled manpower. And such people, learning job on people's feet is far, far better sometimes than even learning it from school. I mean, I have not come across any school where they teach work. They will give you the theories or what it takes. When you come to work, then the work ethics sets in. So if you ask me, GBC, who will qualify, I will throw it back to you. What is the focus of GBC? Now, if I had gotten the focus of GBC, it becomes easier to pinpoint who should get market premium. And not only market premium. In some instances, it could be inducements. But because we've not turned the full cycle of the single spine, any small thing, people stampede you over it, and everybody wants it. So the market premium, if we are not careful, it becomes a top-up.
And I guess this is what the challenge has been.
That's the point.
With Fairwages and Salaries Commission, dealing with the health sector workers and all that.
I will come back to what we are doing currently. And why we had to do what we are doing. But let me go to further to explain something. If you take, for instance, Ghana Education Service, and you take all the universities, the universities are saying that there's a general policy which says that every year they are supposed to take 60% sciences and 40% arts. They've never been able to get the 60% sciences because a lot more people are not going into the sciences. Ghana being a third world country, that is about having an economic takeoff. Industrialization is key to our development. How can you develop industrially when you don't have people in the sciences? So, for instance, you take Ghana Education Service, and the data that they brought to me was frightening. That if you take out of over, let's say about 230,000 teacher workforce, I'm talking about the teaching workforce. Just about a little below 6,000 are teaching the sciences. What it means is that if even people want to pursue the sciences, we don't have the science teachers to teach them.
So it means that this is what you would describe as skills in short supply.
Exactly. So something has to be done to now encourage people to go into, for instance, the sciences, to be able to teach the sciences, because we are looking at an economic takeoff of the country. So you may positively want to give a premium to maybe people who are teaching the mathematics, the computer science, the physics and all that, so that more people will go into the sciences. And as you know, I returned from Kenya quite recently, and I learned a wonderful experience there, that over the last 20 years, Kenya was suffering from the same thing, and they were not getting people going into the sciences. So one of the teacher union leaders was telling me that when he came into the teaching field, government was paying the science teachers more than the others. And today, the trend has turned. They now have more science teachers than the arts. So they were saying that, okay, if Ghana has what we call market premium, then Kenya may have to adopt market premium, and I'll give the market premium to the arts, those who are teaching the humanities.
Because they are in short supply now.
Because they are now in short supply. So that is what you do as a country. Now, coming back to what is happening, we have not implemented market premium as part of this policy. We have not.
Why?
We had a challenge. Because first of all, we are implementing a single spine in phases. The very first phase is to put everybody onto the single spine salary structure from their old salary structures. But in the course of the implementation, we were confronted with a big challenge. And what is this challenge? There are institutions already that government previously felt that this institution needed a form of a premium, but we didn't have a premium. And so government decided to give them certain, either putting them on a different salary structure or giving them certain allowances, which clearly was a form of a market premium. Now, if you want to bring such institutions onto the single spine, you are going to have a situation where if you take some of these institutions, once you put them onto the single spine, somebody will have a conversion difference of about 2,000 Ghana cedis. 2,000 Ghana cedis conversion, and for purposes of our viewers who don't understand conversion difference basically means that the person currently is earning far more than he's supposed to earn if you say you want to bring the person onto the single spine. And because you don't want to make the person worse off, you have to continue paying the person the amount of money he's taking currently. But you are paying the person the difference between what he was taking and what single spine says he should take. That difference to him as a conversion difference.
Difference.
But if you are implementing a policy of this nature, we are going to have a conversion difference that is likely to take 6 years, 7 years to clear. Then basically what you will encounter is that such institutions may be tempted to fight the new policy and decide not to be part of this policy or create all the, and you know, they are the critical institutions too. So they have every potential of disrupting exactly the policy that you are doing. And as a commission, we learned from the previous policies and all the various experiences. So on the 5th of October 2010, when we were moving into the health sector and the other tertiary institutions, we realized we were going to be confronted with this. Government took the whole of the health sector from the GUSS and put them on the health sector salary structure. It was that huge gap that eventually resulted in agitations which ended up in the single spine that we are implementing. Then you also have the universities, where government decided to pay the university lecturers an equivalent of $1,500. Clearly, it was a form of a premium and for those institutions. The same thing was done to institutions like Atomic Energy Commission and all that. And now you are going to implement the single spine. How do you implement the single spine in such a way that such institution will not resist their coming onto the single spine? So we went to our stakeholders and said, this is a challenge. We would want to implement something as an interim arrangement because we don't have it. How are we going to do this interim thing? The interim thing is that we are going to try to establish what the market premium is in their current existing arrangement, salary arrangement. So we distinguish their basic salary from their market premium. because they are already enjoying that form of market premium. But when we went into it, we realized that there was no clear-cut formula in arriving at what they arrived at. And so we as a commission felt that then let's find a way of establishing a certain arrangement as an interim.
And so this time, what formula are you going to use?
No, we for instance, because the bottom line was to ensure that we don't get people to have huge conversion difference. We made sure that we established the market premium based on those principles, so that at least, if anything at all, if those people are going to get conversion TV, the figures will not be that huge.
Huge, yeah.
So you know that within a year or two, you can eliminate the conversion difference. In any case, once the government issues a white paper on the market premium guidelines, now the guidelines become the basis for now paying those people. So immediately the guidelines come out, whatever interim arrangement you have in place now disappears.
And when is this coming out?
We have done our consultations and everything. We've given it to cabinet. We are not sure. I was expecting that by now it would have been issued, and it has to come out immediately.
I'm asking this because I'm sure the various unions for which Mr. Mpabin represents as the General Secretary will be putting so much pressure on him regarding that.
In fact, they have actually directed us at a meeting.
Cabinet has directed you.
No, the unions.
Unions, yes.
Our stakeholders, our social partners have actually directed us that, look, the market premium that you interim thing that you said you are implementing is creating so much problem, and therefore put a halt to it. So they've actually directed us to put a halt to the implementation of this market premium. And that's exactly what we are doing at the moment. So, and because it's a new pay policy, you need to do it in such a way that it becomes an acceptable policy for everybody. And so we needed to make sure we go about it the way we went about it. But when the guidelines come out, it will be clear to everybody that the market premium is not even, may not even be a negotiable thing. And I can envisage a thing where market premium is will not be negotiated.
Yeah.
What you can negotiate is what you are due. What you are due is the value of your job, which government has placed you. So that's why you will negotiate and have it. But as to which scale is in short supply, we come to GBC. In modern journalism, you may have people who are journalists, but they are supposed to be experts in, let's say, pay administration.
Yeah.
Or experts in medicine, or experts in economists. To
or
get such
experts
journalists,
in oil and gas management.
Oil and gas management. To get such people, some of them may have been doctors already, who have decided not to practice and have moved into journalism. To get such experts to work in any field, it means that you need to appropriately compensate them. If not, you are likely to lose them. So this is the criteria that will be used, and immediately government issues the guideline. We'll then go into it with our social partners, do the analysis as to how we are going to identify those critical skills and all that. But how much and what content to be given to them will not be negotiated. That is the prerogative of government.
Let me remind our listeners and viewers that we will make this very interactive. And this is what we have done, over the weeks. We will announce the phone line 0509-079208. You can also join us via text, same line, 0509-079208. The tab is already beeping, and I know people are concerned that they would want to join us. The phones are ringing already. The phone lines are ringing. You can also join us via Facebook if you have your questions for us. Why not? Fair Wages Commission. And then you can also tweet us at Fair Wages. WhatsApp, same line, 0509-079208. And if you're on Viber, you can also do same, 0509-079208. Our email is info@fairwages.gov.gh. info@fairwages.gov.gh. Let me see if I can pick a call. The number again is 0509-079208. You join us, you tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Hello? Hello? Hello, you're live on air. Hello? It looks like we have lost this caller. But let me come back to you, Mr. Mpabin. I think there's a need for us to be talking a lot more about this issue so that we make sure that issues related to market premium will not lead to industrial action, because a lot more education will have to go in there. What have you started on your own?
What we rightly did was to, halt the process.
Yeah.
And I've already indicated that market premium is for specific targeted group. Now, if you are not careful and you come to GBC and you pick a section of GBC staff and you say you are giving them market premium, when you know very well that allowances had been stalled. So first and foremost, let's get allowances in place. Now, if you had gotten your allowances in place and you are implementing market premium alongside, you reduce the friction and conflict. So what some of us are advocating is that, look, let's get our allowances. And the allowances, the work to be done is very huge, because under the single spine, allowances are to be standardized. And standardization, my brother, it doesn't mean equalization, except that we are now getting ranges. So a particular allowance, I'm only making inference, at GBC might not be necessarily the same allowance at GNA, for instance. But it could be within a certain frame, in a certain range. That's what we are going to do. And now, to implement such a complex policy, you need time and you need to inform the people also, which I appreciate we've not done. Because as I speak, I still have a couple of organizations who had not been migrated yet.
Yeah.
So my focus now is to see to it that every organization under PSW
Has been migrated.
Has been migrated. Now, after we've done that, then we tackle the allowances. To me, even the allowances must come first. Then after we've done with the allowances, then we go to the market premium. That is what.
Okay. Let me pick a call and then we can move on. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm calling from Bolga.
Speak up a bit for us. We can hardly hear you. You're calling us from where? Bolga?
Yes.
Okay. What's your name?
My name is Jonah.
Jonah. Okay. Let's hear you, Jonah.
I work with Legal Aid.
Jonah, speak up a bit for us. Okay.
Hello. I said I work with Legal Aid.
Oh, you work with legal aid. Okay.
Yes. When will we be migrated? Please ask Mr. Graham for me. I want to know when will we be migrated?
Okay, legal aid. They want to know when they will be migrated onto the spine. You want to answer?
And as to whether we are not a critical skill.
Okay, all right. Jonah from Bolga. Thank you so much, Jonah. Well, if you also have some concerns to share with us, you can do that. But take advantage of our text facility and then send us a lot of text messages. We will pick them and then touch on them. You can also tweet us at Fairwages, okay? And then if you're on Viber, do same, 0509 079208. Let me pick another call. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, your name and where you're calling us from?
I'm Matt Walker, calling from Domainco.
Domainco, our brother Nat.
Yes, yes.
Speak on Nat.
Yeah, are you saying that someone at GBC who is a second degree holder, let's say an accounting department, and somebody also having the same degree, doing the same job at DNA, they will not have the same allowance? Is that what you are telling us?
Okay, I think I get your point. Mr. Graham, I'm sure you heard that.
Yes.
And then after you've taken that, I'll ask Ms. Ampabin to also respond.
Allowances are not based on qualifications.
Qualification.
Allowances are based on the job that you do. So, for instance, if there's an allowance, and let's say you call, let him give, for example, out of station allowance is an allowance. Until whether you have a first degree or not, until you travel you will not be able to, what do you call it, enjoy that allowance. But we want to establish in such a way that, yes, it has to be in a certain range. But there are certain allowances that when you look at it critically, you may not be able to put it in that range, like those out-of-station allowances and all that. It will be in a range because it will be in ranges from maybe the lower level to the upper level. That will be the range. But you know that for the lower levels, this is what they may be taking as out-of-station. For the upper level, this is what they will be taking as out-of-station. We are not discussing allowances yet, but what we are doing now is there is a technical team in place. And that technical team, in fact, I have received a letter from organized labor that really got me panicked. Very high-powered selection from the organized labor. And that technical team is now going to sit down and do certain analysis as to if we are talking about out-of-station allowance, what should go into the determination of out-of-station allowance to be able to arrive at a more acceptable out-of-station allowance. And we are going to do that to the same other allowance, all other allowances. So allowances are not based on qualifications. They are just based on the job you do and whether your job requires an allowance. Or does not require an allowance.
Okay, an input from you.
He had rightly said, and I would even go further to say that certain specific allowances, talking about category 2 and 3 allowances, it's environmental based. I mean, if someone's workplace
with all the hazards
with
attached
the hazards
to it, yes.
and you don't have those hazards, and you say because we have the same qualification, once he is taken, I should also take. No, it won't happen.
Okay, let me pick another call. Let me pick another call. Hello. 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 Oh, I'll try this one again. Hello. Yeah, tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Oh, it looks like we have lost.
I wanted to address the legal aid one.
Yeah.
As at my last check yesterday, we were left with about 16 or so institutions to migrate. And we have been given directives to conclude migration by October ending.
This year?
Yes, this year. And so we are going to write to all the institutions. I don't know if legal aid is one of the institutions.
And would you be able to do this with all the existing institutions?
They are not very huge. We are already concluding most of them. Most of them, discussions are ongoing behind the scenes. And we will need to make sure that we conclude the migration by
Have you finished
October.
dealing with all the challenges you had in the past regarding those you have already migrated on?
Yes.
And what lessons have you learned so that you don't repeat?
Exactly. Those
mistakes?
lessons have been informing us on what to do.
Yeah.
And with all those challenges, we keep migrating.
Yeah.
I mean, this year alone, we've migrated quite a number of institutions onto the single spine. So we keep learning. It's a learning curve. So as we go ahead, we learn a few lessons, and So let me inform all institutions that if your institution has not contacted Fairwages and Sales Commission, please come. We have, I think, just about 4 institutions that have not come to Fairwages and Sales Commission at all. And we will be going to them very soon from next week to make sure that we get whatever information they have to give.
Does it mean they are comfortable with where they...
The point is that if by October, we wouldn't want any, we want to move on to the other activities that we have.
Exactly.
So if by end of October such institutions do not come, we may be forced to put them onto the single spine anyway, and then
and that would also
we may be forced to put them on
that would also raise.
So we are hoping that they will not come, so that we can conclude. There are just about 5. All the other institutions within the 18
have approached
discussions are ongoing. They have their grading structures. We are working on it, so we don't have a problem.
Let's see if we have someone on the line. Hello. 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 Oh, it looks like we're having some challenges. Let me try again. Hello. 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 Yes. Tell us your name.
My name is Bismarck.
Bismarck, where are you joining us from?
Brekum. Brekum in the Bono Ahafo region.
Oh, Brekum, Bono Ahafo region. Thank you very much, Bismarck from Bono Ahafo. Speak on, let's hear you.
I would like to know if the teachers' retention premium is part of the interim measures that you were talking about, or if there's anything that you can tell the public. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Bismarck from Bono Ahafu. Teachers' retention premium.
The teachers' retention premium was a premium that was introduced by a government to solve a particular problem. And I must say that the market premium issue that we are talking about, this interim thing, is not part of it.
It's not.
We have a situation where people go to teacher training colleges, and by the time they graduate from teacher training colleges, a lot of people use it as a stepping stone. By the time they come out, they start looking for other jobs and quit. So, and when they go to teacher training colleges, we pay them allowances and all that. So at the end of the day, you keep having these shortages in classrooms. So it was a way of making sure that government recognizes teaching as a critical profession that has to be taken care of. It doesn't mean that all other skills are not important, but that is what the situation is, and we don't have any advice to the contrary. So that is what I will say for now.
Okay. We have just about 3 minutes. Let me pick another call if it's possible. We will take this one quickly and then we will address his or her concern. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Tell us your name, my brother, and where you're calling us from. It looks like we have lost. Hello. Hello. Oh, we have lost. I'll try again and see if we have someone on the line. Hello. Hello. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, you're live on air. Talk to us. Your name and where you're calling us from.
David Pichikola from Cape Coast.
Cape Coast. Okay, let's hear you.
I want to know the number of people who have salary strike.
Can you speak up a bit for us? You want to know the number of...
I said I want to know the number of people who have migrated onto the
Oh, so far, those who have been migrated so far onto the spine. Okay, Mr. Graham.
473,000. It's 473,000 plus. I don't know the figure.
Okay.
Yes, and originally when we were doing the migration, the information that we had was that we're going to migrate 472,000. So you can imagine that now...
That was your initial target?
Yes. We've now exceeded that target. We have done 473,000 plus.
And you are yet to do more.
And we still have some 6,000. Yeah. The institutions we are referring to, the 16, 18 institutions we are referring to, are just about 6,000. And we will complete their migration very soon. So far we've done about, I think, 473,270 or so.
Okay. All right, let me take a final one from you, Mr. Ampabin, and so maybe we can wrap up. We have just about 2 minutes to say bye to our viewers and listeners. What advice would you give to...
What I would say is that workers should exercise the maximum restraint and allow the system to work. I would advise that it is not too good for us to stampede the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to force them make avoidable mistakes so that the single spine pay policy will be a living policy for all workers. This is my advice to workers.
So you can also assure the various unions that sustainability issues have
been addressed. The way we are going
it is
the way we are going it.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why we've even slowed down on the allowances.
Okay.
Because it's a system. You don't have to give the system shock. Even your own body, I hear the doctors say, if you're taking too much protein, you get some kind of ailment. And so that is how it is. You gradually, then you get there. Like climbing the hills of Kwau. You meander around it, and by the time you say Jack, you are at the top there.
Okay. Mr. Graham, your final words.
Yeah, my final words to all public servants is to buttress the point Mr. Ampabin has just mentioned. This is a policy we are going through a very painstaking process to make sure we get it implemented. And if you recall, when the last time Dr. Ban was here, he said, look, this policy should have been implemented in 10 years and not the short time that we want to implement a policy of this nature. It takes time, and so everybody will need to be patient. And I will advise that they don't buy into the arguments of unsustainability of the policy, because I can assure them that we are taking sustainability very seriously, and the unions are concerned about sustainability. We don't want Ghana to go like our neighboring countries where people will take their salary for 1 month and they will have to wait for another 2 months or 3 months before the next salary comes. We are very conscious about that. And so we all need to make sure that we put our ideas and whatever we have together to ensure that the policy becomes sustainable. And we have several things to do as part of this pay policy. We need their cooperation, and I can say that very soon the public sector will be competitive. And once we do that and we start implementing performance management and all that as part of the implementation of the policy, people will begin to realize that the public service is not what they think. It's not a bunch of incompetent people as they think. And that this is a critical mass of people who drive government machinery to ensure that every country develops.
It's been wonderful having you two on our set today. Mr. George Smith-Graham is the Chief Executive, Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, and Mr. Ampabin is the General Secretary, Public Services Workers Union. This brings us to the end of today's edition of Single Spine the Issues. Next week's edition will discuss the Controller and Accountant General's Department and the Single Spine pay policy. I know time has always been an enemy when important issues like this crop up for us to delve into them well. But remember to join us again on GTV and all our regional networks. My name is Cecil Ni Obodai Wintum. It's been wonderful having you once again. Enjoy the rest of the day.